Hello, everyone. Welcome to a awesome edition of episode 53 of Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast presented by the World of Football. I'm your host, Kyle Sutherland, and I'm joined by my co-host and brother-in-law, Adam Snow. Adam, the end of the regular season is here. The Detroit Lions lock up that first seed, lock up that division, and how many hours of sleep did you get? Because I know I got about 3 hours, and after this, I'm probably going to go to bed.
That sounds about right. I definitely got, we went to bed. I don't think I fell asleep till about 12:30, maybe closer to 1. My alarm was set to go off at 4:40 to go to work. So yeah, very, very tight turnaround this morning, but I was riding high off of that back-to-back NFC North championship. Oh, and then woke up to the Dan Campbell post-game speech. Chef's kiss, by the way, to that masterpiece that he put together. Just what a night. I'm sure we're going to get into the nitty-gritty details of this game, but shout out to Meyer here in Michigan for getting NFC North champ shirts out. Yeah, it's not the official one like the team wore, but I'll take it for the time being. Go to your local Meyer, people, and get yourself a shirt. Or that nice It Takes More flag that I also found at Meyer. And then pay no attention to my fantasy football loser trophy that I won this past season.
That's funny. Yeah, I believe that flag is they're doing some collab with some foundation, so part of that goes to that too.
Right on. And before we get rolling, did you see? I just saw this that the Lions got a bus tour going on.
Oh yeah, so they're gonna be 4 different places. I think the closest around here is gonna be in Grand Rapids.
Yeah, Tuesday night.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be something interesting to check out if you're up there.
You gonna go?
Am I gonna go? Probably not.
Yeah, me neither. Probably. If they, because they said there'll be more dates coming, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, they make their way over to the center of the football world over here in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and we can pop on over there and maybe take a video or something, Kyle, because that'd be great.
Yeah. Pretty sure there'd be a YouTube videos out on it.
Yeah, by us, Kyle. God, don't you know how content creation works? God.
I watched the video. I didn't seem too impressed.
Oh, wow, Kyle, that's not the point. But anyway, get to the point.
Yeah, let's get on with the show here. We're going to go over the Lions Week 18 win against the Minnesota Vikings.
You mean the ass kicking the Lions put on the Vikings is belt to ass, baby.
I don't think it's a belt. I think it's the whole foot to butt,
Also true.
Yeah, we're going to go over that and then look at the wild card weekend for the Lions. Pure entertainment coming up for the Lions.
Spoiler alert, the Lions wild card weekend is going to involve them taking a break, putting their feet up in their living rooms, and enjoying watching other teams play for a weekend.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's Lions 31, Vikings 9. First half, pretty boring overall. The Vikings defense were just I give props to the Vikings defense. First half, they got a lot of fast guys. They know how to move around, but as soon as that second half, partway through that third quarter, the Lions started cooking and just took that game away from the Vikings. So
yeah, it was about midway through the third quarter that whole game changed. I mean, the Vikings were in it the whole game. The Lions, it was 10-6 going into halftime. We'll go into more of the details, I'm sure. But yeah, for a good 2.5 quarters, I was on the edge of my seat, nervous as heck, like I'm not taking anything for granted. But then after, that Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown to kind of break it open a little more, I think I started to settle down a little bit. Wasn't feeling great. I was like, we need to go up by at least a couple scores. And when they did that, I felt so much better. And you could just kind of tell that Minnesota just either they didn't have it or that they realized, like, okay, there's no point in us getting anybody hurt. We have a playoff game no matter what next week. And I'm not saying that's what they did. It just felt like that there was a point where they were just like, let's not even go too hard now.
Yeah, you could kind of tell once he started seeing more Cam Akers out there instead of Aaron Jones. Like, I think the Vikings knew, like you said, like, let's not get our players hurt here. Um, so yeah, I think after Jahmyr Gibbs' third touchdown, like the game was over. Like nothing you can really do with the way the Vikings offense was playing there.
I mean, the way they were playing, but even then, I always like to say the game isn't over until the clock hits zeros. I was still like, look, this Viking team, they're 14-2 going into this game for a reason, and I was not going to be surprised if they busted one open. I mean, they got that potential, but that the Lions defense, I think, along with Jahmyr Gibbs, is the story to this game.
Yep. So jump into that here. Let's talk about some stats real quick before we do that. Jared Goff, 27 of 33, 231 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions. Jahmyr Gibbs, the star of the game here, showstopper, the guy that should be Pro Bowl or All Pro as well. Um, like this guy is doing a lot for the Detroit Lions this year, and I expect more to come as his career continues here because this guy is electric.
I mean,
He had 23 carries, 139 yards on the ground, 6.0 average, three touchdowns. He also had five receptions for 31 yards and one touchdown through the air.
like I know he's had good games in the past, Kyle, but did this not feel like a coming out party of sorts for Jahmyr Gibbs? National stage, probably the biggest regular season game in NFL history, depending on who you ask. Like this felt just like a Jahmyr Gibbs coming out party. And early on, when he took that hit from, what was that linebacker's name for the
Van Ginkel.
yeah, when Van Ginkel or however you say his name,
Yeah.
Gazoon tight. Whenever he made that hit on Gibbs, like I was for sure just like, oh no. I was so scared, but Gibbs showed how tough he is and had, a nice coming out party. Like I said, he's played some great games. Everybody knows how fast he is. Clearly, he got the nickname Sonic for a reason. But I feel like this was the game that everybody's just like, now hold on a minute. Like nobody knew about, and I'm sure you'll talk about their big accolades a little further on down, but nobody knew about, oh, he's only right behind Saquon Barkley and uh, like Derrick Henry in terms of just like good seasons for running backs this year. Oh, he ends up leading the league in touchdowns overall. So like it just felt like a nice coming out party for a very talented running back that, remember when he got drafted, everybody was pooing on. So good for Jahmyr. He was awesome.
Yeah. Like also it helps that like Lions versus Vikings, big primetime game here. Everyone's watching it just for like seeding and the excitement wrapped around this. Just seeing how Jahmyr Gibbs played this game, kind of like finally getting his name out there. Like everyone knows who Saquon Barkley is, like you said, Derrick Henry. Now they're gonna recognize who Jahmyr Gibbs is also. So yeah, another big household name people are gonna watch for here. So continuing, we had amon-ra St. Brown, 6 receptions for 77 yards, 12.8 average per catch. Sam Laporta, 7 receptions for 63 yards, 9 yards per catch. He also had Jameson Williams out there catching balls too. So yeah, they had a lot of people helping out. Um, even though Goff only threw 231 yards, with back like Gibbs, he didn't really have to do much there. So I think this is more of like a running game versus a passing game. Viking side, Sam Darnold, um, Week 17 victory, locker room celebration. Didn't really show up this game or got flustered a lot. He had 18 of 41, 166 yards. Cam Akers, 6 carries for 65 yards, 10.8 average per carry. And the big Showtime stopper here, All Pro Justin Jefferson, 3 receptions for 54 yards, 18.0 average per catch.
Yeah, unbelievable. The stats for when you look down some of these Vikings guys, like starting with Sam Darnold, when I heard 18 of 41, I could not believe it. Like less than 50% completion percentage. He let a lot of balls sail. So the question is now, did he just show who he really was? Did the pumpkin finally, you know,
There's
show back up at midnight, or the carriage turn into a pumpkin at midnight, or however that saying goes? Or was this an outlier game? Was it jitters? Was it I'm playing in the biggest game ever? So maybe he was just so excited that he was throwing balls, a little high and just missing guys, or was it a combination of also the Lions' defensive line finally getting pressure, flustering Sam Darnold, or also the Lions' defensive backs just playing absolutely clutch man-to-man / zone defense.
I mean, if I had to put it out there, I think it would be Aaron Glenn's game planning. Apparently, like they blitzed a lot during this game. Also, I mean, I think it all Aaron Glenn just throwing haymakers at Sam Darnold just threw him off. Because usually Sam Darnold likes to hold onto the ball, wait for Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson, or Jordan Addison to get open. Like those guys are big time players, but Sam Darnold did not have time to do any of that. So I give the credit to Aaron Glenn there. So yeah, total yards, Lions 394, Vikings 262. Time of possession, Lions 36 minutes and 12 seconds, Vikings 23 minutes and 48 seconds. Um, so jump into the offense side real quick. Gibbs, JMO, besides that one deep ball where he kind of stopped running, I don't know if he lost um, sight of the ball where it was. St. Brown and Laporta, I mean, they all played a great game. Gibbs, especially with 4 touchdowns and 170 total yards, I believe Gibbs just willed this team to a win. Um, really put the team on his shoulders and got that win for this team.
Hey, for sure
And
he.
also, he got a game ball out of it too. So good
Hey, a
on him.
few guys got game balls from the Lions and from the Sunday Night Crew, so that's pretty awesome. No, Gibbs essentially put this game on his back. I don't know if that hit from Van Ginkel early on is what kind of sparked him. Like, all right, they ain't gonna do me like this, and he just after that it seemed like every hole, every crease that opened up, he hit, and he hit it hard, he hit it fast, and he made it count. The only thing that the offense did I didn't like during this game, I mean, Goff threw the 2 interceptions. One definitely I was like, not his fault. The tipped one that kind of the linebacker caught himself.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't like that. The deep pass, like you said, JMO, I don't know what happened. Did JMO just give up on the route, lose sight of the ball? I feel like he did lose it a little bit and just figured that Goff was just throwing it away, but not far enough to get out of the reach of that defender. I also didn't like that some of those screen passes that Goff was throwing that they dialed up. It just seemed like the Vikings were on top of that every time and were very close to getting a pick six on multiple occasions just because they've seen it before. It's one of the Lions' go-to plays, and it felt like the Vikings kept sniffing that one out. So yeah, credit to the Vikings defense for that. But the Detroit People Movers, that offensive line also coming through, Kyle. Gibbs I won't say he wouldn't have gotten in, but they definitely helped propel him into the end zone for that last rushing touchdown,
Oh yeah.
which was pretty awesome to see. And I love that they help the running backs do that, and I hope nobody ever gets hurt as they do that. So
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, like Zeitler, I think people are kind of worried on him. Kind of grabbed his hamstring at the end of the game, kind of came up limping. So hopefully he's all right. So yeah, that's just one of those things. Um, with big guys running around the field like that, like you don't want to get those guys hurt. So hopefully he's all right to play in the divisional round coming up. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, we already talked about it. Halfway through the third quarter, the Lions finally started clicking again. Goff throwing to St. Brown, a little Porta when the Vikings were blitzing, like Aaron or not Aaron Glenn, but
Ben Johnson.
the offensive coordinator
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson. Like he's got his number on that Vikings defensive coordinator.
Brian Flores.
But yeah, overall, I think the offensive side did a heck of a job once they got things clicking there. Uh, Anything else you want to add on this offensive side?
Yeah, like you were saying, like Goff under the pressure. Like, yeah, he took that one bad sack. And yeah, there were missed calls on both sides. We can talk about officiating all day. I see a lot of Vikings fans complaining about that Goff non-grounding call in the end zone. Look, he had two guys right there. Get over it. Move on. If you want us to give you those 2 points, sure, we'll just say the Lions won 31-11. Big deal. But no, I think Goff again, and it was very reminiscent of the last time they played the Vikings, where the Vikings got all sorts of pressure on Goff, and Goff was pretty much like 98% of the time cool as a cucumber, and stepped up in the pocket and made some clutch throws. Like remember the last one he threw that touchdown to Amon-Ra. He had a guy right there, like a second away from swatting the ball out of his hand, and Goff just coolly stepped up in the pocket, got it to Amon-Ra for that over-the-top touchdown in their last meeting. This game, he was just throwing lasers, even with a guy breathing down his back. Like, I'm surprised he didn't take any more hits than he did, because while I think the offensive line did their part of the deal, the running backs also had to make a couple of key blocks that lasted just a fraction of a second, which was just enough for Jared Goff to step up and get that ball out. So, kudos to them. And yeah, Goff's stat line ain't going to show up, but I thought Goff played a pretty efficient game, minus the 2 interceptions, which I won't fully put on him. But, you know, when you have the 2 turnovers, you lose the turnover battle, and you still get the win, pretty good sign. And I know we're about to transition to the defense, but I also want to say the Vikings trying to be like Dan Campbell and going for it on 4th down. Guys, you're not the Lions. All right. That's all I got.
Yeah, like Jim Costa said up this morning on 97.1 the ticket. Dan Campbell shoved O'Connell into a locker this game here.
Pretty much. I think you know, I hear a lot of talk because I listened and watched a lot of sports talk this morning. You know, people complimenting, like they said these were the 4 best coordinators in football right now. You know, O'Connell and Flores with the Vikings offense and defense, and then the Lions, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, just all great coordinators. Everybody did a bunch of different stuff, but it was the Lions coordinators who definitely, you know, seized the day. And Aaron Glenn put together a hell of a game plan because they blitzed a lot. They were not scared to let, you know, the corners be on an island against a great wide receiver duo. I mean, that whole wide receiver core in general, Hawkinson, Naylor, Jefferson, and Addison all together, it's a great receiving core. And they let those guys play one-on-one. Anzalone coming back was huge. Anzalone helping cover Hawkinson half the time was a battle I did not think I would be seeing during this game. But, man, he was all over Hawkinson, like, all game long. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, speaking of defense, we already talked about Aaron Glenn. Coached one hell of a game. They went paying to him like 6 minutes left in the game. He did his casual sitting on the bench, feet up in the air, looking relaxed, cool as a cucumber. Like,
love it. Somebody said he was sitting there figuring out what he was going to order on his drive home after the game. Like, to have the testicular, not fortitude, but just the balls on that man to just chill on that bench, know that his defense has played a great game, that he doesn't really have to do much anymore, and like he's just like, job well done. I deserve to sit my tush on this bench and soak it all in, and I love it. That's twice this year that we got great images of him sitting on the bench, just, after a job well done, and I love it.
Yeah. So we had Meek Robertson, Branch, Anzalone, Terrion Arnold. They all played an awesome game. It's great to have Anzalone back. Like I knew if Anzalone would come back for this game, like um, just him kind of leading that defense and Jack Campbell back there. Um, those two, I think next year, Anzalone and Jack Campbell are just going to be one heck of a force to be reckoned with. Um, Anzalone, like like you said, covering Hawkinson, Brian Branch covering Hawkinson when he needed to. Um, they were even showing plays where Brian Branch was in man coverage, and it looked like Brian Branch was just whispering, and I think Naylor's ear the whole route. Just I'm surprised they haven't played more like that versus the other teams that have those stars wide receivers, like playing that sticky coverage there.
I mean, I'm sure they want to. They've been missing some guys. It doesn't help, like Tyrion Arnold going down during the game. And it all comes down to personnel. And I like that somebody broke it down that the Lions would run half, the corners would be running man to man, but then the linebackers and safeties would be playing zone. And especially in the red zone, which is where the Lions really lock down that Vikings offense. So I don't know if that's the formula going forward or if that's the formula they knew they needed to do, especially when it mattered. And they just kind of held that in their back pocket till, you get to this time of the year. It's like, hey, all right, it's time to bust out the moves. This is playoff football, essentially. Yes, it's the last week of the regular season, but it was a playoff game. And speaking of the playoff game, real quick, I texted my friend who's got the season tickets at in Detroit, and I asked her if this game was louder than the Lions Rams game we went to, and she said yes. Like that, she said that stadium was louder than either playoff game. This was the one that the decibels got up to like 120 in that stadium. So they were rocking at Ford Field last night, despite the $2 million worth of tickets the Vikings bought.
But did you ask her how many Vikings fans were there? Because apparently,
I
Jim Costa asked a few people that went to the game, like how many Vikings fans were there, and those people were saying like they didn't really see a lot. So
I mean, I've seen videos. There are handfuls. There are pockets of them here and there, but nothing. I think to where the Vikings ownership thought like, oh, if we bought a bunch of tickets behind the bench, like they'll, it'll be a nice sea of purple in an area that didn't work out. So I think a lot of those Vikings fans ended up turning around and selling their tickets to Lions fans. So some Lions fans just straight up bought the tickets from the Vikings for $200 and was like, that's cheaper than going through the Lions. So
yeah. Uh, so yeah, other stats for the defense. 3 of 13 on third down efficiency, 0 for 3 on fourth down efficiency. They caused 2 sacks and 3 punts, and they only allowed the Vikings to 14 first downs. And I believe it was 0 of 3 or 4 in the red zone. So yeah, the defense they're only going to get better. They're going to get hopefully Carlton Davis back here soon. Like they keep playing like this, like they've got no reason not to or no reason not to get to the Super Bowl. So
hey, we'll see. It depends on the matchups too. Could be interesting. We should get like you said, Carlton Davis should be back. We should get Montgomery back. Tyrion Arnold said he should be okay enough to get back for the divisional game. So we'll see how that injury goes. Something to keep an eye out on, and who knows what other defenders we could get back before then, or if any. We'll see if if Hutchinson. I'm not saying he's going to be ready for the divisional game, but the fact that he was standing on the sideline makes me think that he's healthy enough to, like, if you're healthy enough to be on the sideline to get yourself out of the way of a stray player, running into the bench area, like he might hold true to his word of getting back by the Super Bowl. Not his word, but the speculation that he'll be back by the Super Bowl. So
yeah, one of the other radio hosts there said like if you're on the sideline, you got to be they won't allow you on the sideline unless you're healthy enough to like get out of the way of incoming traffic if someone runs out of bounds there. So yeah, that's good sign to see there for Hutchinson. Hopefully coming back for the Super Bowl. So yeah, notes from the game. Lions 15-2, new record for them. Um, big thing here, 6-0 in the division. I think it's the first time in history for the Lions, if I'm not wrong there.
Yep, first time.
And then yeah, 8-0 on the road. So overall, this season has been kick ass for the Lions, and just the way that organization is set up, like we're looking at another hopefully dynasty, like the
Well,
Patriots have done, Chiefs has done.
let's not be
You
using
gotta
that D
believe.
word. The
You
only
gotta
D word
believe.
we should be using is Detroit. Okay, listen,
Dynasty.
I'm gonna squash that dynasty talk already, Kyle. Stop getting ahead of yourself. Look, it's been a remarkable season. 15-2. This is the kind of stuff that I would never see as a Lions fan unless I played Madden. Like this, seriously, and even then, like you play it on the right mode, you don't lose a game. Like Lions playoff games at home are going to be great. It should be pretty awesome. What the heck you got going on over there?
God, it's dark in here.
You're just now turning on the lights? Good lord. No wonder you're
Yeah,
squinting all the time. But look, I lost my train of thought. Thank you so much. We can move on to your next bullet point.
I plan all the time, all along. So yeah, besides that, Gibbs with 4 touchdowns is a new record for the Lions, and total 20 touchdowns for the season. I think that's number one in the NFL currently right
Yep.
now. I think he passed. Was it James Cook for the Buffalo
Yep.
Bills? Yep. So yeah, and then let's
He
talk about
also
Meek
did you
Robertson.
see the stat that he and uh, Jake Bates are now the first time ever that two Lions players have gone over 100 points in a season.
Oh really?
Yep. So that was another big thing that came out last night. Um, there's a lot of records and all that junk that came out. Uh, you know, unbelievable.
Yep. Jake Bates. Jake Bates go to the Pro Bowl or no?
He was like an alternate for the Pro Bowl, I
Oh,
believe.
better than nothing. Yeah, he's yeah. Hopefully he's like first or second alternative.
I mean, we don't even have the Pro Bowl roster on the rundown, but the Lions having was it 7 or 6 guys on the offense that are going to the Pro Bowl? Like it's
Oh, yeah.
well recognized for the Pro. There's no Pro Bowl game anymore. It's some stupid flag football, but to be recognized is still cool. Kirby Joseph, somebody I wanted to mention real quick. You know, he leads the league in interceptions. Got a Pro Bowl snub. He's like second team Pro Bowl, which I think is highway robbery. Uh, but he had probably the play of the game, and nobody's really been talking about it. And it's the play where the running back for the Vikings, Cam Akers, had that big 50-yard run or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Kirby Joseph that made the play, tackled him inside, the red zone. And what the Vikings do on that possession? I don't think they scored. I don't even think they got a field goal. So that play saved a touchdown. And I don't think enough people are giving Kirby Joseph the credit for not giving up on that play and not just being like, well, we'll give him this one. No, this team fights to the whistle. None of these guys give up, and it's awesome. It's seriously the identity of this team. It cannot go understated. It's something that other teams are trying to emulate, and it can't be replicated. Detroit is one of one, and it's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about another guy here, Amik Robertson, going up against Jefferson all game, and only allowing
Absolute
3
stud.
catches. Yeah. Apparently they played against each other in what, high school, I think.
In high school
So
and in college. Like these two
yeah.
have seen each other like their whole football careers. And for Amik Robinson, what was his quote during the post games? Like, they're trying to bury me, but you can't bury somebody that's been in the dirt. Like, or something crazy like that. Yeah, like something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was awesome. And he was teary-eyed, and you can tell that this team is just on the same level with each other. Everybody's got each other's backs. Everybody's got a chip on their shoulder, and everybody's out there to prove how good they are. I love this team. This has been a very special season. I know the job's not done. Yes, we got an NFC North championship shirt, but there's more. I want 2 more T-shirts, Kyle. This isn't over.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought Amik Robertson was on a 1-year deal, but apparently it's 2 years. So
Yep, 2 years.
That's good to see. Also, having him next year as well. Like this guy can play corner or cornerback or slot defensive back. Like
Yeah,
I'm really glad he's on this team right now.
same. I'm very impressed with him. He's had to do a lot of work with the injuries, going from more of the slot, like you said, the slot guy, to outside, kind of guarding the big dogs. And he's held his own. And I think that's something as you discover as a team going through the season, and you can adjust your defensive game plan around something like that. Now, do we see Robertson lined up against, like, say, if we play the Rams, is he lined up against Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua all game long in a man-to-man type situation? To me, this has been a pleasant surprise development, and it makes me very excited what this defense could do when healthy, 2 when schemed up with the right guys in the right spots.
Yeah, it'll be interesting too. Like not to jump ahead here, but when Carlton Davis comes back, are they gonna move Amik Robertson to slot, and then move Branch to safety, or are they gonna kind of rotate Amik Robertson with Terrion Arnold and keep Branch at the slot defender?
If you're Aaron Glenn, you keep it fluid. You go with a hot hand. You move the guys around. You're like, all right, this couple plays, play inside for a couple plays, Robertson, and then Amik, we need you on the outside this play. We want you to guard so and so. Just you throw the defense off balance. When you get all those guys who've gotten a lot of reps in different spots in that defensive backfield, I feel like that just makes your team and that unit a lot better when they can trust each other. Like, hey, look, we can trade off. We can make it confusing for Sam Darnold or whatever quarterback we play, and we'll get the job done.
Yeah, I'd also like to see them once Carlton Davis comes back to run a 2 linebacker, 3 safety kind of
words are hard,
plan
Kyle.
or whatever. Words are hard when I get 3 hours of sleep here. But yeah, playing there to kind of move Branch to that hybrid linebacker role because I think Branch can play that position if needed. And I'd like to kind of see what he could do at that too.
For sure.
But yeah, overall season performance. Dan Campbell 11-2 in primetime games so far. Is now their 20 plus points in 15 straight games. Another single season franchise record as well. But yeah, there's a bunch of records that are being broken every time the Lions play. So yeah, just look that stuff up there. Or we'd be here all night.
There was one where Jared Goff is the first quarterback not drafted by a team to win 15 games for a franchise. Like, it was going to come down to him or Sam Darnold. Like, that was on the table for this game, apparently. I didn't even know that till after the fact. That one of those 2 guys is going to be the first quarterback ever to be a non-drafted quarterback to that team and win 15 games. So that's also a pretty awesome achievement there, too. Even though quarterback wins are not a real stat. Just throwing that out there.
So yeah. What did you think about, did you hear the St. Brown's comment about, like, if you're 14-3 or 15-2, like, you shouldn't be in a wild card game?
I did. I get that. So I agree to him with Amon-Ra to an extent. Look, every few years in the NFL playoffs, Kyle, you've noticed it. You've seen it. You've watched enough football. But every few years, there's always like an outlier thing that happens. Like, one year we had a 7-9 division winner make it to the playoffs and host a playoff game against a 10 or 11 win team. Doesn't happen every year. but it happens once every 4 or 5 years, maybe. But this is the first time ever 14-win team has got to go on the road and, doesn't get a home game. Didn't win their division, got to go on the road. And it sucks. I like the way the playoffs are set up, though. Look, you got incentive for winning your division, whether it be the best division in the NFC North, which was a dogfight between 3 teams, or a crappy division like the NFC South, which was just a dumpster fire for half of the season. And the winner. What were the Buccaneers? Were they 10 wins or 9 wins at the end of the year?
I think they ended up with 10 wins.
Okay, so you win 10 games. Like say they won 9. Okay, you won your crappy division, but you won your division. That's the emphasis on division games is so important. Look what the Lions had to do. The Lions had to win all 6. Lions had to win all 6 of their division games. The Buccaneers lost 2 games to the Falcons, then had to get a game ahead of the Falcons just to get the division. So you got to make the division games matter. And I think there's got to be a reward for winning the division. Yes, there could be the argument of if you win the division, it should just guarantee you a playoff spot. Okay. And then you see, like amon-ra said, then you seed from best to worst of those 7 teams that make it, best record to worst record. While I in an ideal world, if the NFL, if it was set up just slightly different and there weren't 4 divisions, and it was just you go by the conference, yeah, you do it like that. But it's not. You got 4 divisions, and I think the winners, the whole point of winning your division is to get a home game. And it sucks that it just so happened that this year we had 2 14-win teams going into the final week of the season, a 15 and a 14-win team. It stinks, but you just got to roll with it. And if you're a good enough team, while it's going to be a harder road to go on the road and do that, it's not impossible. We've had 2 Super Bowl winners the last 20 years be the number 5 seed and go on to win the Super Bowl. So it's not like it's going to be an impossible road for the Vikings, or if it were the Lions, if the positions were reversed. So it's just one of those things you got to suck up and accept. It's not an every year thing that something like this happens. Now, if this was a consistent thing where every year a 10-win team or a higher win total team has to go on the road for the first round, then yeah, maybe they need to start looking into changing up that rule a little bit. But I think it is important for the division winner to get the home game, regardless how crappy that division winner is, even if it was a 7-9 Seattle Seahawks team that won it, 7-8 years ago or whatever it was, or Washington football team during the COVID season that went in with a terrible record. So, like I said, those are outliers. It doesn't happen all the time. I don't know. I think the playoff format is fine as is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see this a lot happen the way it's set up now. Like, I don't expect, 2 teams in a division to be that that many wins and few losses, one having to go on the road like that. So
right, what a weird. It was just so weird because 2 of the 3 losses for the Vikings came to Detroit.
Yeah, for the Lions.
The other team they lost to is the team Minnesota's got to go play next after playing Detroit again, which they lost to. So it's a weird situation for the Vikings.
Oh yeah, something to think about there. So yeah, let's move on. Wild card preview. I know everyone's excited. I'm excited because the Lions get a bye. I get to relax.
Sound so excited, Kyle. Your brand of excitement just hypes me up.
But yeah, I get to rest, get some sleep.
We all do. Yeah. Now we don't have to. We can work this weekend if we need to, Kyle. We can make a little extra money. Can we go? I don't have to rush home to see a Lions game this weekend.
Yeah, but yeah, biggest thing I want to see. I don't know if Dan Campbell's going to have a press conference coming up in the next couple of days or not. But I'd like to see news on hopefully Terrion Arnold's all right. He can come back for the divisional round. Hopefully Zeitler's all right. I think Levi Onwuzurike, he got banged up a little bit along with Pat O'Connor. And then maybe get Carlton Davis back on that clock, get him out there practicing. So yeah, besides those, 4 or 5 guys, I really got nothing else about the Lions this week coming up here.
Hey, it's a well-deserved rest. They haven't had a bye since week 5.
Yeah.
And I think the Lions playing that game in San Francisco and keeping those guys, mentally and physically prepared, it was a good thing. Yeah, they'll need this week of rest, but I hope they also use that time very wisely to install some more trick plays. That was one thing from this game I was also surprised about. Like 0 trick plays. It's like they're saving it all for the postseason, saving it for if they have to play the Vikings again. So, all I want to see is just the good news that we're getting reinforcements. I know like Ben Johnson is already going to be interviewing with the Bears and the Patriots over their week off. I think Aaron Glenn might also do some interviews. So it's going to be an interesting week, especially sitting at home with a bye. Never thought I'd see that in my lifetime, seeing the Lions with a first-round bye. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's something to see there.
Why are you rubbing your shoulder? Is that where you're gonna get your NFC North tattoo, Kyle?
My Super Bowl Lions. Yeah, it's getting.
You already have. Is that why you're itching it? Do you already have the tattoo? Show me. Show me, you coward.
Yeah. One thing I was gonna say is, this weekend AFL's on, the AFC side is on Saturday, and the NFC side is on Sunday. I noticed that this past week the AFC was on Saturday again, and the NFC was on Sunday. So
Sunday,
hopefully
Monday.
they can move those around to where we can have a Lions football game, a meaningful game on a Saturday night instead of a Sunday night.
Well, it depends, because if, say, like the Vikings or Rams were to play Detroit, they can't turn around from Monday and play Saturday. So I think the thought is the Lions would play a Sunday game.
Yeah, I not this week coming up, but I mean like in the future.
Oh, well, you mean we're not talking about down the road. Kyle, we got 2 games we got to worry about. Well, let's worry about the next one first. Then we'll worry about the second one after that. But we're going to play Sundays, Kyle, rest of the year.
Yeah. Maybe if we're going to put NFL games on Saturday and Sunday, just have Lions on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so. A lot of stuff. I mean, we didn't even break down the Pro Bowl squad and all that. Probably don't need to. We could probably touch on that around Pro Bowl time. But yeah, I'm good if you are.
All right. Let's close it out.
All right, Kyle. We hope you enjoyed listening to today's episode and come back for more. Be sure to visit the World of Football's website, www.theworldoffootball.com, for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. If you want to get in touch with us, send us an email to info@theworldoffootball.com, or you can connect with us by either liking the World of Football on Facebook, following the World of Football's X account, or go to our Instagram. Those links will be down in the description below. Be sure to check out our flagship podcast, This Week in the World of Football, which drops new episodes every single Tuesday and are available on a multitude of platforms. Again, those are down in the description below and can also be found on this very YouTube channel if you're watching on said YouTube channel. So,
Yep, that's it for us this week. Also, 28.5 million views. Largest audience for Sunday Night Football. Season final since 2012.
dang, okay. Hey, everybody wants to watch them Lions, man.
A lot of people.
They had the biggest viewership on Monday Night Football all season. Now they got this one. People love the Lions.
Who doesn't? Yep.
Yeah. Well, probably Vikings fans, but
or Green Bay or
Green Bay or Chicago.
Okay, we'll see you on the next episode. I don't know if we'll have another episode out before the divisional game. I'll probably do a quick pregame show for the divisional. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, go Lions. Thanks for watching, listening, subscribing, hitting the like button, all that stuff. And we'll see you on the next one. Go Lions.
One pride, baby!